quick conversation with Mark Andrews, who was, I guess still is, director of Brave, and now working on the John Carter of Mars animated series.
Yep.
So what drew you to John Carter as a kid?
I think the biggest thing that drew me towards it was the fact that the story was placed on another planet. It was still the sword and sandal kind of action adventure, Conan, Spartacus, type of deal, but you're so far removed from what you would find on Earth, which can still be fantastical with Greek myths and all that, but you're on another planet, so all the rules get thrown out the window of what you're going to expect. And as a kid, in my imagination, and I drew all the time, that just lit me up like nothing else ever had.
Yeah, and you do fence. You are handy with swords, if you want to say that. So you'll survive the zombie apocalypse pretty well.
Come to my house, no problem. Got plenty of swords to go around.
I'll probably cut my own head off. But anyway, and you did then, later, since you worked for Pixar, you got to, work on the John Carter film.
Yep.
And so now working on the animated series, aside from, yes, the audience has a better taste for adult animation than even 10 years ago, really.
100%.
What's the challenge for you, or the way around that with the live action film? Part of it was people felt like, well, they'd seen all this before because so many other projects since the first novel borrowed so heavily. Mm-hmm. So in doing an animated series, what can you do to make it seem fresh to an audience that says we've seen it all?
Right, and that's a great question. And that comes down to the visuals, right? We can push so much bigger and broader in animation than we can in live action. It's more of a visual medium. That storytelling, that pantomime, without dialogue, right? Seeing this character figure it out, going to another place. There's just a lot more magical, quality to something that's animated and more bizarre. I don't know if you've seen that. It's a long time ago animated film called Fantastic Planet, which was completely
I have seen
bizarre,
that.
which is completely, for me as a kid, that was kind of captivating in that sense, that you could never recreate unless you had a big budget. And I think that's the thing, is that animation, we punch above our weight when it comes to a budget. And what that means is, if ideas are currency, I can get more ideas in there. I'm much more rich in animation than I am in live action, because we don't have the budget to really present a world the way we can in animation.
And I knew at least the first two novels, it has been a long time since I've read them.
Sure, yeah.
At least the first two novels are very interior, if you will, because it is John Carter narrating.
Yep.
So I also have not heard anything of the audio drama, like how it goes. So,
yeah.
What are you doing to crack out of that? So much is John Carter's point of view.
Right. So instead of telling us, right, we're going to show you. So we want the audience to feel what it's like to be John Carter. So his dialogue, that narration as an idea, as a concept to help tell the story is out, right? So we want to start John Carter waking up on Mars, just like the audience will wake up on Mars. So we don't get his background. We will see who he is, where he came from, and what he's struggling with, which is this kind of PTSD from these dreams that he's had, because John Carter wasn't just a soldier back during the Civil War. His origins actually go back farther. He's been in every time period, right? He is this kind of wandering immortal that has no idea who he is.
See, and that's fascinating to me again, that element, which was not actually in the original novel.
Right.
But I know, showed up later, and certainly in works of comics have changed that, because I was inspired exactly the way you just said, like the Marvel #1, John Buscema cover, right? Or Gil Kane. I think Gil Kane was the cover. It is, even the concept of the immortal warrior has gotten stolen. I think somebody mentioned Michael Moorcock.
That was me.
With the Eternal Warrior. And so it is interesting, because there is well, I'll say, there's that difficult thing of which side he was on in the Civil War.
Yes.
And how much freedom have they given you from Edgar Rice Burroughs to say, like, do we bleep over this? Do we justify, or can you rewrite that backstory?
We can. I mean, there's a lot of leeway, and I think that goes to also this time jump that we can have. I think there's a lot of creative license to get into that mystery where essentially we turn it into a man with amnesia story, right? Why do I have these abilities and these powers? When we were first working on the live action film, we had solved that through it was Thurn technology. Is what transported him back and forth, and we got to meet Danton Burroughs, the grandson of Edgar Rice Burroughs, and he loved that. He said, "Oh my gosh, you solved my grandpa's thing that always just rubbed me the wrong way, my entire life." So there is room to recreate and refashion, but still keep the essence of who he is. And I think that man of mystery is what we didn't focus on in the live action film. That's the very thing I want to focus on here, because that will give us a fresh take on this story, and following this character through Barsoom. Is who the hell is he, and he doesn't even know.
Okay, and with the long lead time that animation has to be, because you're searching for backers, all this is like, dare you say when you hope this would be for audiences ready to go?
Well, hopefully sooner rather than later.
Yeah, what I'm really asking is how long do I have to live?
You don't, if we could find all the money today, we could have the season starting in 18 months. Fully animated in 3D. The tools that are out there now, animation does not take a long time anymore. It doesn't have to. There are tools out there that let me, as a storyteller, visual storyteller, iterate super fast, get to the story and put it out with a quality. The whole 3 rules is cheaper, better, faster, pick 2. With the technology that we have today, I can have all 3. So we could deliver to the audience, like I said, within 18 months.
Well, I know it's...
So you don't have to wait that long, Derek.
Okay, I appreciate that. Thanks so much for taking the time.
Sure, absolutely. My pleasure.
Another Comic-Con has ended, but there's still plenty of Comic-Con related content coming. For now, the macaws have left the building. If you're enjoying Fanboy Planet, please hit the like and subscribe buttons. Thank you for watching, and remember, use your powers for good.